Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Watcher's Gift. I'm Kitty.
And I'm Mikey.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Yes, and welcome to our nicely designed look, just like SMITE. But We'll talk about that later.
Yes, definitely.
Alright, season 2.
Amazing. So many changes.
So, yeah.
Oh my god, I was like, oh my god, so many changes. I'm actually glad they didn't bring out a new girl because, like, oh my god, that would have been even more changes.
Yeah, that would have been a bit too much. That would have been a mouthful.
Yeah.
Instead, let's go look at what kind of neat skins we have. We have Primal Huntress Artemis.
Oh my god, that skin, I want it. It's amazing. I want it. Especially Husky. I forgot they renamed him. But oh my god, it's amazing. Did I mention how amazing it is?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I want it. Oh.
I can make Mikey angry now because I already have it.
Yes.
Alright. She's a chest skin, I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
And like most of these skins actually. So people have been extremely butthurt about it, but we'll talk about that in a bit too. Let's go to Jandroid Janus.
I actually like that one a lot, because for me it kind of has this bit of Portal feeling, especially with the chest bit that looks kind of like, I actually forgot his name, I'm not good with names right now, from Portal 2, the antagonist.
I don't really know, I haven't portaled, so...
Yeah, well, it's the antagonist.
I outed myself.
So someone will probably gonna
Is it
tell me...
Lotus?
No, that's the antagonist in Portal 1. Basically.
Okay.
So yeah, it really reminiscent of Portal, and I don't know, I like it. It's has a really neat look to it.
Some people said his voice sounds creepy. A little bit. We fought one yesterday. It was a little creepy.
Janus's voice is creepy in general.
Really? What?
Well, his robotic like voice. It's I don't know. It's creepy by design. That's how I feel it.
I don't feel that way, but that's his way.
No.
So Jandroid Janus.
Yes.
Okay, then we have one that I'm really not too excited about. It's Prizefighter Mercury, and I really love Merc. But the reason I love Merc is because he is really hyper and he probably has ADHD. And because of the way he looks, because he's a bit more bulky, like you can literally tell he's working out and he has muscles everywhere and stuff. Which is kind of a rare thing here in SMITE. Everybody's always just toned and that's it. Mm. And Merc is more blocky, which I personally like. It's a bit of variety. So this skin is, I know it's reminiscent of boxers from a bunch of way back, but since he has a completely different voice pack and he looks completely different and is thus a completely different person, I am personally not picking it up.
Well, I'm personally not a Mercury player myself, but I think it's neat. They really got the look right. How one would imagine, I think 18th century boxing, it's basically. Yeah. And it just fits thematically to Merc because he basically is boxing.
Yeah, he is.
With his abilities. So yeah, I think it's a good fit. I mean, personally, I'm not going to pick it up either, but that's mostly because I don't play Merc myself. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a good one.
Don't get me wrong, the skin is great and it's well made and stuff, but I just don't like it on Merc because it basically changes him completely, as in personality, look, everything.
I'd actually argue that's kind of a bit of the points of skins.
Well, unless you look at Apollo, which...
Well, okay, but let's see. Look at Neath, for example.
Yeah,
it's like,
Neath too.
Look at Neath, Carnival Neath. There's like...
Yeah, Carnival Neath,
both
let's not even talk about
look-wise, personality-wise, and voice pack-wise, completely different stuff.
But that's why I like the Apollo skins, for example, because it's always him, it's always the same voice actor. He always generally looks the same. I mean, the same hairdo, the iconic hairdo, I have to say. So they changed Mercury completely, and that's why I'm like, oh. But I like Merc when he goes, wah ha 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 ha.
Oh, like so, you don't need to get them.
I know.
skin anyway,
I'm just saying. I mean, I know skins are there to change the gods completely, but I personally like the ones that don't change them too much. Or like if they were cosplaying or something. Unless it's Kukulkan, because I miss the old Kuang. I still have the Sacred Dragon. That's why I call him Kukulkan. Because I always play as Kukulkan. It's great. Yeah. That's just me.
So, next up, Rage Bakasura, the League reward.
Yes. Because League Season 1 ended. It was Season 1, I believe.
Yes, it was.
And so they are dishing out the prices now. Some people get an icon, some people get a frame, some people get the skin. Good stuff.
Yeah. I saw the frame and I really liked it.
Yeah, it's neat.
Incidentally, the frame looks extremely good with the Primal Hunter Artemis skin.
Yeah, it does. It's very...
It's like it was made for it.
Yeah, it looks very, it kind of reminds me of, like, woodwork, almost.
Yeah.
Like on a deserted island kind of thing, or cave. Yeah, pretty much. Artemis right there. Yep, it's neat. It's pretty neat. So if you've played League, have fun with your rewards.
Definitely.
The last one is pretty much a given, I suppose. It's gold, legendary, diamond, Kuang. It looks nice. The artwork's pretty nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's mostly the standard gold, legendary, diamond thing. It's like...
There's not much to say about it.
No, not really. Either you like him or you hate him.
Yep. I do want to mention, again, as I said in the beginning, at Artemis' skin, a lot of people have been butthurt and complaining and raging about the fact that most of these skins are chest exclusive. So everybody's like, oh god, high-res, you money greedy whores or whatever. But actually, the way they did it is pretty amazing. There's hunter chests. There's those spring chests and those mystery chests. The Primal Artemis, you can get it in those hunter chests, and I believe there's just like 8 items or so in there, 7 or 8 items. And you can you can get some really cool stuff like Elite Apollo, which you can't get any other way right now. The Cupid double pack with the Lover Boy Cupid, which you can't get any other way either. There's some really cool stuff in there, so if you're a Hunter fan, period, this is like Candyland right now. I personally bought all the items in there. Accidentally I got Carnival Neath, but, yeah, well, I was literally missing Artemis and Carnival Neath, and I'm like, well, and Cupid, so I'm like, oh, please don't give me Carnival Neath. No, of course I got her. Shoot. Well, but yeah, I see where people are coming from with the chest skins, but they never make it unfair.
Yeah, I think what people would like is...
if you can just buy it.
Yes.
Yeah, but... I don't know, there's always skins you can still just buy without having to go to chests. But they also need some content for their chests too. I mean, I get where they're coming from, and I don't feel like they're being money greedy, especially if they're doing very fair stuff like what I just said, where they just make hunter chests and there's 8 items. It's like, you're not gonna be spending a whole fortune, and if you're like a Hunter fan anyway, you might as well. I mean, if you like Artemis, I'm assuming you're a Hunter fan in some form. You're probably not just gonna like Artemis if you like playing her. So, I don't know, that's just me though. It's just sad to see that people are always complaining about everything. It's like, oh my god. But that is. Yep. Anything else you want to say to the skins?
No, not really.
Good. Alright, get the skins. They're amazing. We obviously also had some new ward skins and emotes, but if you want to see what they are, please check the patch notes. I do quickly want to mention some of the updated Godcards. They look amazing. New Slickshot Apollo. Oh my god. Oh my god. He looks so good.
Yeah, he does. It's like, yep.
Yep, would tap that 10 out of 10. We also have Blue Lotus, Naja, Earthshaker, Poseidon, Deathdealer, Sobek, and X-Balls has been worked over completely.
Yeah.
The standard and the Jungle Beast. They look pretty cool.
Yep, they do. They do.
Obviously, my favorite is Slickshot Apollo. I'm just a bit confused. I feel like there's multiple people working on these cards.
Yeah, I would assume at least.
Yeah, but in a bad way almost, because Slickshot Apollo looks like kind of like an airbrush anime kind of thing. And if you look at Naja or Earthshaker Poseidon, it looks more, I don't know, more traditional almost. And then if you look at Xbal's card, it's more anime but with actual digital coloring, and I'm just confused a little. Like, I wish they'd keep it all the same style. It's a bit too bad.
Personally, I don't mind, but again, that's only my personal opinion.
I don't know, I just would like it if they'd keep it in one style, preferably in the Xbal style, because I like it. It's a little bit anime, comic-ish, but it's digital coloring, and it looks pretty good. So, but that's just me. Would be interested to hear what you guys have to say about these styles, because you can definitely see 3 different styles here, at the very least 3 different styles. I don't know where to put Sobek right now. I'm not sure. There was actually going to be a new Neath card, but she looked completely different, so there's a completely different style altogether, and they dropped it.
Yeah.
I guess people were complaining.
I think it was because, like...
I was kind of glad because the style looked completely different from any of this stuff here. It looked more watercolor comic. It's weird. Again, I wish they'd just keep them, you know, the same throughout. But they're not, I guess. But yeah, new Conquest.
Yes, we talked about it at the end of last podcast. And I can only repeat myself. It looks freakishly beautiful.
It does. Except on low graphic settings. No, it's still good. It's still good, obviously.
One thing that I didn't notice by myself, but I actually saw basically a little website explaining the changes, and that they actually put into 4 quadrants the battlefield, and each quadrant has their unique look.
Yep.
And like I didn't notice that by myself, but knowing that I went through, like, playing through the map, and it's like, yeah, red. It's like, this is the green Italy, like, well, it's not Italy.
Yeah.
It kind of resembles, like, I have this Italy feeling around it. And then the Mediterranean, and especially with the beach sides.
Yeah, exactly.
And then on the other, on a short lane, you have the erupted volcan with ashes and lava and everything. It's really, really neat, really, really distinct. So you have a feeling of where you are.
Yeah, it's really neat because they pretty much divided the 3 lanes into different, I almost want to say themes. It's kind of like a progression, like the dual lane side is the untouched, nice looking village. Then we have a bit of crap going on in the middle because the Vulcan maybe did some damage, and then on the opposite side we have the completely devastated surroundings because of the Vulcan in the back, because it did a lot of damage and stuff. Yeah. It's neat. It's almost like telling a story.
Yeah.
A progressive story. It's kind of nice. It's also way easier to navigate, which is apparently what they were going for. Kind of like, here, I'm in the freaking underworld. I don't know. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's very nice. We did mention that they changed some of the camps, some of the buffs, obviously. They did remove, I believe, the mana buff in some modes, and replaced it with the new purple speed
No, they replaced the movement and attack speed buff in
movement and attack
each mode, except of Conquest.
Right.
And replaced it with the new attack speed buff.
Right.
It gives attack speed and attack and physical power.
Yeah, that's what it was. Though the buffs they're different now. Like if you kill the monsters, they drop a little runic stone almost, and if you have it on, it's like this really nice looking ring around you with runes, and it looks very magical.
Yeah, it doesn't. There's not this kind of blocky thing rotating around you, which, on the one hand, made it easier to see if an enemy was wearing a buff. So now it's a bit more difficult to see if the enemy has a buff, because that was really super obvious before.
Yeah.
Now you have to actually maybe squint your eyes a bit if they're a bit far away, and
It's still nice. I don't.
yeah, I like it too. And it's just saying, from a gameplay standpoint, it mixes up things. I'm not even saying it's a bad thing. It's just like.
I personally actually never really cared if an enemy has a buff. I just killed him anyway.
That's the right.
Well, it's like, here's a shield line coming with her ult. I didn't give a shit if she had a buff or not. I was running. Okay? Just saying. But yeah, it looks really nice. And Hi-Res did actually confirm that they are going to overhaul the other modes too. So I'm really, really excited. It really feels like they took the Conquest map to, well, the next century, or the next whatever.
The next level, basically.
Yeah, and it looks really good. It's almost, now the gods almost don't fit into the Conquest map anymore, because it's so, like, graphically updated and, you know. So I'm really excited to see what happens to the other modes. I think Joust is definitely going to get an overhaul, because it looks pretty old and almost a bit washed out with the colors and stuff. I saw probably 2. I don't know. I don't think they're going to redo Siege. I don't think. It already looks pretty good.
Yeah.
But the other modes definitely. I'm curious to see if they're going to upgrade the gods too at some point.
Well, they've been doing that.
Well, yeah, but like even more. In the end, we're probably going to have an extremely graphically polished game. That's probably where it's headed.
Yeah, which is good.
It's great. I like it. I would love some more, quote unquote realistic, or I don't know, more high definition detail on the gods. That would be cool. I hope they're just not gonna make it to that point, so you need an extremely overpowered computer to even play this.
Well, you can always turn on the settings.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, but that still looks kind of weird. It's almost a bit too bad if you have this kind of look.
Yeah,
it's great.
But I think SMITE and like basically every free-to-play game will be accessible for all price ranges of systems.
Yeah, probably.
So I don't think we have to worry about that.
I'm personally excited. It looks great. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
Great job on the graphics, whoever did it. I can't say anything anymore. Alright, so that was the new Conquest, as we've already discussed in the last episode a little bit. Let's go to this other crazy big thing they did this patch, which was items. They added some new items, they changed some old ones, they removed some completely. Boy!
Big changes.
Definitely.
I don't even know where to start.
It's a little overwhelming. They've added a few new actives. They've added a few new starter items. They've added a few new branches to some items that already existed. And again, some have been changed, especially the boots. The boots are the big ones.
Yeah.
They divided up the boots a bit differently. A lot of items became cheaper, especially the boots, but also other stuff.
Yeah.
So you can actually now, if you start an arena match, for example, you can get 2 levels of boots and actually either 2 levels of one active or 2 different actives already.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat. I like that because it always bothered me that I had 200 gold left. Like, fuck, I'm 100 short, and I have to go out there now. Fuck.
Okay, so let's just start from the top, I guess, with a new introduction, Achilles Spear, which is a promising item.
Goes off of Sprint 1,
It goes off of Sprint 1, exactly.
It's an interesting choice.
Yes. Basically, what it grants is 30% attack speed, 35% lifesteal, 30% movement speed for 5 seconds.
Which sounds OP at first, but...
You take 30% additional damage from all sources while this is active.
Yep.
Which you can exploit.
We already figured out a good combo. Alright.
Kali ult, just fire Achilles Spear before you ult. You're good.
It's broken.
Or together with Aphrodite.
Yeah, Alpha's ult. We have.
Woohoo!
Anyways, yes, this is probably gonna be put on a lot of collies now.
Yeah, and
I tried it.
I'm sure a lot of people are gonna try out what they can do. Bluestone pendants.
It's OP. But we should tell him what it does.
Yeah, well, basically what it does, it gives you 15 physical power, 90 health, 5 MP5, and its passive is it restores 4% of your missing mana every 5 seconds.
It's a starter item, obviously.
Yes.
A new starter item, and it's extremely OP on hunters, especially very mana-thirsty hunters like Anhur, Artemis, Xbalanque, you name it. It's pretty good. I could tell the difference. I tried it even just in an arena, and it's obviously good for laning modes, but I tried it in arena and it's already good there too because you have to go back way less, especially as somebody like Artemis or Anhur. Well, it's great.
Yep.
It's probably gonna replace the death toll for a lot of people. Well, hunters anyways.
Yeah.
So, good shit.
Definitely. I was really impressed by it.
Yeah. I used to sometimes cheat and get a Boomba's mask for the MP5 or something, but...
Not necessarily anymore.
Yeah, now there's something better. Good. Good, I needed something like that.
Especially, this is also good because they took the mana buff in Conquest.
Yeah.
From the solo lane. So if you wanted to... not solo lane, from the dual lane. So if you wanted to dual lane and ADC, you would have run into mana problems otherwise.
Yeah, that's the
But
problem.
that basically fixes the mana problems.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
obviously, you still run out of mana because you actually want to be low on mana for this item to have a bigger effect.
Well, I personally, I used to buy. I pretty much what I did yesterday is that I didn't even buy any. Or not many mana potions anymore, which I usually did even though I had a mana buff. But actually I didn't even need to invest the money into mana potions anymore. Maybe like 1 or 2 every, I don't know, 5-10 minutes or so. Because this item was pretty good, actually. It's pretty good. I like where this is going. Most of the time I was sad in the end when I had to get rid of it so I can
because it's
build my last item.
It's like it's a good item even in the mid and late game. Like just like if you're a mana hungry god and you run out of mana easily, just keep it as long as you can.
Yeah. Alright, next we have an item that has been reworked, Celestial Legion Helm. I don't know if we want to like mention everything that has been changed about items that were already there. But if you've built it before, you should probably look into it and make sure that you still get the effect that you want.
Yeah.
We're probably just going to mention the items that have just been reworked. So, there you go.
Okay, next up it's a new item. Hardwood Amulet. Kind of like the magical counterpart of Sovereignty.
Yep.
Basically what it gives you is 60 magical protection, 300 health, and the passive, it's an aura that gives you 20 physical protection and 20 MP5.
Yep.
Which is mirroring what Sovereign does now after this patch. So usually it's just a good pickup for a support guardian.
Yeah.
Just like get both Hardwood Amulet and Sovereignty, and you have HP 5, MP5, and an aura that gives Fizz and Mage protection. It's really good, and some even better like Aris.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this is a great item on Aris. Definitely. If you would build this and the soft, well, good night.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's really good combination. It's I project that's gonna be at least very heavily looked into it.
Yeah. I'd say so.
It might even replace Stone of Gaia.
Maybe.
I was actually when I played Artemis once, I was like really considering, do I get both? And in the end I did, but I might have replaced Stone of Gaia with something else. I was unsure, and it might take the place of Stone of Gaia.
Yeah. So, honest players or anybody more tanky, good stuff.
Definitely.
Especially if you combine it with soft.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be broken probably. Another new item, Lotus Crown. 60 magic power, 30 physical protection, 20 MP5. And passive, any gods affected by your heals gain 20 physical and magical protection for 5 seconds. Cannot be cast on the same target again for 10 seconds. So this is great for somebody like Sylvanus.
Basically every AoE healer who is either tanky or needs some fizz protection because they're squishy on their own.
Let's not forget, actually, while we're talking about healers here, let's not forget somebody like Artemis.
Yeah.
A lot of people always skip him. He heals a bit awkwardly and a bit, it's very restricted because you have to be really close, which can be dangerous. But might be neat, we need to test out on him too.
Yeah, especially since it gives a lot of magic power, which is good on Hades.
I kind of like this anyway. It gives you protection, but you still get some power. I always like items that do both, so you don't have to like compromise. Like, oh god, I'm going to build tanky, but I need some power, so I can, you know. Yeah. So this can be pretty neat. It branches off the Jade Mountain Helm. So there you go. I'm gonna be curious to see what kind of combos there's gonna be here. But I'm probably I see it being used a lot on Sylvanus in the future, probably.
Yeah.
Most likely. We have another item that has been reworked. Runic Shield. Also Shield of Regrowth. And those are the last two of the normal items, I guess. But we have 2 more new items.
Let's start with Shield of the Underworld. Upon activation, you reflect 40% of all damage you take before mitigations for the next 5 seconds back to its owner's as magical damage. While this is active, enemies cannot lifesteal from you. Cooldown 60 seconds. I see a lot of applications for this. One big thing is where you have an ultimate that forces you to stand still. For example, Hades or Guri, Hades. Like basically, where your ultimates were usually before it meant, okay, this is just free hit me ultimates because it's easy to hit someone who's standing still, like rooting yourself basically.
Yeah.
But this is actually a way to punish people who do that, especially if there's like an ult coming in, like a cuckoo ult or something. That's gonna hurt.
This is kind of after it's an active that costs 600. This is kind of like the height of the Nemean Lion that reflects back damage you get. Well, a part of the damage you get. Except this is kind of way cheaper.
Yeah.
Way more effective. Because it reflects 40% of all the damage. It's pretty good.
Yes. It's something I would probably consider on, like I said, on gods that have an ultimate that sees themselves. Yeah. Or guardians in general, who just go into the middle of battle and they soak up a lot of damage and then start reflecting that.
It's actually also, if you think about it, it's a really neat item or a neat active on gods that get focused a lot, maybe healers even. I mean, you might die anyway, but it might as well also mitigate some damage back before you die.
Yeah, there's always the question is like, what active do you give up to get it? Yeah,
I mean, obviously if you're an assaulter, so that's kind of, hardcore. And it depends on what the other team has. Yeah. So if you need to get, like, for example, Beats and Aegis together, obviously not. But, I mean, you have only 2 active slots anyway, so you need to think about this period. So.
Yeah.
But if you know you're going to be focused the whole time anyway, because you're extremely squishy, or because you have some ult that forces you to be immobile for a while, that might be a good thing. Definitely. I'd be interested to see how it works out for somebody like Otis, or who gets focused a lot when he's.
I was going to say that's what I was thinking too when I said like about gods.
Or Hades too.
Yeah.
A lot of people, especially Hades. It's like when you have a great team comp that works well with your Hades, that's great, but a lot of times the enemy team has like a Toys or a Sheila or something that can fuck you over, or with Otis too. So it's like, yeah, here, pick up this this nice active. And again, it's just 600 because it's just
yeah,
it's neat. I kind of feel always weird when there's just an item that has 2 tiers. It looks weird to me, but
kind of makes sense though.
Yeah, but I'm curious to see if they're gonna add another one. They added a lot of 2-tier items now. It's weird.
Yeah. Oh, moved items to tier 2.
Yeah, it's friggin' weird. I don't know. So, another item. This is gonna be probably picked up by a lot of hunters or maybe assassins or whatever. The Crusher, very promising name. 40 physical power, 20 physical penetration. So far, sounds like kind of Jotun a little bit, and it's actually where it is, where you'll find it. But the passive is extremely groundbreaking. Each basic attack against towers and phoenixes grants a stack that increases your attack speed by 6% and movement speed by 3% for 2 seconds. And you can have 5 stacks. That's an extra 30% attack speed and an extra 15 movement speed. So, if you want to be a complete dick, just put this on someone like Apollo, who's already a great tower pusher, or Artemis, or any hunter really. And if you want to be, I don't know if I want to say equally as good as those hunters that can push well, you can put it pretty much on anybody else, like assassins or so.
I don't like this item too much, personally, I have to say. Just, like, you can put it on either, it's basically for backdooring. Because if you're already at the tower with minions, with some support, it's really highly likely you're gonna get the tower or the phoenix. Yes. So the Crusher doesn't just makes it so that you get the tower or the phoenix a few seconds faster, maybe.
No, a lot faster, because people like Artemis or Apollo or so, they can usually push a tower by themselves. So if you have an item like this on somebody who's really slow usually, or can't push towers by themselves, or not that fast, you can get to a level of Apollo or Artemis almost.
Yeah. Well, but the problem is you do sacrifice an item slot, and like for assassins, that's either that's going to be one of the damage slots, which it's going to hurt the damage because there are items that give them more damage.
Well, on the other hand, it has penetration, so if you're an assassin or something, you want pen anyway, a lot of pen.
Yeah, but
so just again, drop either Jotun or Titan's Bane or whatever, especially if the enemy team doesn't have tanks, or you really need the Titan's Bane necessarily. Put this on and you're good.
I think it's more situational item. If there's...
It's anyways, because you can only use this in any mode with phoenixes and towers.
Yeah, but even then, I feel it would only be good if your team is lacking a good tower push.
Oh yeah.
But otherwise...
Joust comes to mind.
I'd probably skip it, especially on hunters, because they're already good, like most of the hunters are already good at pushing objectives anyway.
That's why I said if you want to be a dick.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be like double.
So I'd probably on my hunters not get it and consider getting it on assassins if there's the need to push objectives.
I don't know, this comes to mind. This item seems to be good for something like Joust, where you have a team where you don't really have a great lane pusher at all.
Yeah.
Or more chaotic modes like, Conquest mostly, where, people are so distracted on one lane or some crap that you can easily, as you said, backdoor kind of. So, I personally like it. I don't know if I would pick it up, especially because I do play a lot of hunters and I usually put attack speed on them anyway. But if you play something like assassins that aren't that great of pushers, especially because they're so squishy and you need to hurry up with going in and out, this could be a lifesaver, literally. Because you need to stay in the danger zone less long. Or maybe even on a, do something a bit more unconventional and put it on a warrior or so. because they're usually building more tanky.
Yeah.
So they can't do a lot of damage to the towers anyway. So.
Yeah, maybe. I feel it's more of a situational optional item than a must.
Well, obviously, because it contains the phoenixes and towers.
Yeah, but even in modes who have phoenixes and towers, for me it's a situational optional item.
I'm probably gonna try it out on some like warriors or so. Maybe I'll put it on tour, or I don't know. Yeah. Anybody who's a bit more clunky and isn't so quick.
Yeah. Okay, next up are item changes. We're gonna talk about some of them in a bit more extent, and some of them we're just gonna mention quickly. One of the bigger ones, at least is how I see it, is the changes to both Aegis, like Aegis Pendant and Greater Aegis. I suggest talking about both at once, because it kind of makes sense. Because they've been both nerfed a bit.
Yeah.
Aegis Pendant no longer provides damage reduction after the invulnerability effect fades, and Greater Aegis can no longer be used while under the effects of crowd control.
Well then.
So let's talk about both changes. First off, Aegis Pendant, I feel that's not really a big deal.
Yeah, I never actually personally noticed that because I combined it with Sprint, so I was out of there anyway. Yeah.
So basically, either you make it out because of Aegis Pendant, or you don't. so that's actually not too bad. The Greater Aegis, on the other hand, that's really huge nerf. Personally, I didn't get Greater Aegis too often anyway, but I liked getting it if the enemy had ults which would CC you, so you couldn't use, like for example, Poseidon. So you'd actually want to get this in that case. Now there's only basically one use I can see for Greater Aegis, and it's for the Ares ult.
Yep.
That's basically the only use I can see for it now.
Well, or if it's maybe I think it still works on a Hades too.
Yeah, but
because it doesn't really.
Well, but you can't really do much. It's like you don't.
No, but you don't get sucked in either.
Yeah, to a lesser extent to Hades too, but mostly.
Beats is obviously better, but
yeah,
yeah.
So I will probably only get Greater Aegis if I feel like my beats aren't enough against Ares. That's.
I honestly barely ever got a Greater Aegis. I usually, when there was an Ares, a lot of times I don't use beads because I just like Aegis because of the invulnerability. So I usually just got 2 levels of Aegis anyway, and I never finished it to Greater Aegis, just in case I wanted a pendant for some reason. So I never got it, so for me it's just like whatever. But for most people it's probably going to be a bit of a downer.
Yeah. So...
It's too bad.
Yeah, that's Aegis. And there have been some small changes. The next bigger one is...
We should probably go down, at least mention them so you guys can look into them if you ever took them. If you've used Ancient Blade, you might want to look into it, or the Ensile. The Armor Cloak, the only thing that's been changed there is that it's been reduced in price.
Exactly.
A little bit. Ozzy is now a tier 2 item. That's one of those items that I feel kind of weird about. And it was cost reduced. Bloodforge was cost reduced. And the lifesteal was decreased, which makes Death Gauntlet way better now, definitely. Except you can't build it in moves like Joust, like Assault, obviously.
The base lifesteal has been decreased from 20 to 15, but the lifesteal per stack has been actually increased.
Yeah, but you also have max stacks reduced from 5 to 3 now.
Well, basically what it does, it goes from 30 down to 26 at max stacks.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad. It's only 4% less lifesteal.
Well, Bloodforge, personally I always just use Bloodforge anyways in Assault because you can't get the Death Gauntlet.
Yeah.
So. But it's too bad. I see why they nerfed it though, because Jesus Christ, people were like OP with it. Charged bow, which leads into the Odysseus bow. That's been changed. If you want to look into that, the charged Morning Star has been nerfed. The cloak has been nerfed.
And made cheaper.
Yes. Well, most of these items have actually been made cheaper. The charged bow and the charged Morning Star as well. The Cloak of Concentration has been changed. The Cursed Blade has been changed. In a bad way, actually, because it no longer gives movement speed, which we'll talk about later with the final item. Death's Toll, the starter item. Yeah, we should probably mention this because quite a few people picked it up. It no longer provides you with the 3% attack speed, which is too bad because you kind of need it in the beginning, or it was a good thing to have. But the health gained per head was increased from 5 to 6. And on the other hand, they decreased the mana gained per hit from 1 to 5 to 1. It's like I said, this is gonna be so outdated now. People are gonna just pick up the other new starter. Yeah, it's too bad though. But I don't know. This item can almost be removed now. It's like whatever. I mean, I don't know. People might still pick it up, but I personally won't. I barely picked it up as it is. But, the Doom Orb has been cost reduced and is now a tier 2 item, which again, weird. The Draining Blade has been completely removed. I believe that's the one that led into Ozzy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I always found it weird anyway. It's like you get an item and you just pay $350, I believe it was.
I liked it because you bought the first level, which just gave you attack speed. You bought the second for 375 more, and it already gave you lifesteal. Now you have to save up to, I believe, 1080 gold to get the actual Ozzy and the lifesteal. So that's too bad, honestly, because I get Ozzy like a lot.
Yeah, but then again, Ozzy has been made cheaper, so.
Well,
okay. Still,
you have to wait to 1080 anyway, as opposed to 375 for a little bit of lifesteal already.
Yeah.
That's too bad. That's really too bad. The Dynasty Plate helmet, or helm, has been cost reduced. Here we have an active. I have Providence, / Improved Providence, / Greater Providence. Apparently there was a bug.
Yeah.
So that's nothing changed much. The Frosty Hammer, as I call it.
Frostbound Hammer.
There was health reduction.
From 400 to 300.
They also now, the enemies that get hit now also have their attack speed slowed by 15%. So it's made even more OP. And apparently it was a typo, but I mentioned this because I'm seeing this in a lot of Bakas, Tors, a lot of other people. So there's an upgrade, I guess. Well, at least in terms of extras, the health has been reduced. So I already mentioned Greater Aegis. The Purification beads, the Greater Purification, has the cooldown reduced from 5 to 3, which I don't know. I barely ever noticed that personally whenever I use beads. I never get it for the cooldown anyway.
Yeah, you get it to get out of sticky situations.
Yeah,
basically.
this is just like a cherry on top, or
yeah.
The Huntress bow has been removed from the game. I believe that was where the Odysseus bow is in the. I'm not sure actually anymore.
I don't know because I never got it myself.
I'm not sure where it was, but it's been removed. Okay, here's a big one that bummed me out. Who's it up? Okay, this is the man. So the cost has been reduced
Heavily
from 2,850 to 2,150. That's great. It's really great. But now you get, instead of 50 physical power, you get just 30. The buff duration, though, has been increased from 5 to 8 seconds after an ability is cast. The recharge time was reduced from 4 to 3. But the passive was changed to... So basically your next basic attack gives 25% extra damage. So that's too bad. I really like this item because it gave you 50 power. Especially, I like to put it on any physical type, really, because it's a lot of power that you get extra. And because of the passive of, that you hit people with another big punch in the face, basically. So I'm a little bit sad. Just a little. I don't think I have to mention much about Hudra's star. I mean, it obviously has been changed too. It has been cost reduced and they adjusted the power, so it makes sense for the scaling to Hudra. If you want, go check those stats out. Next item, the Ikevol.
Ikevol. It's a really interesting change because this item now provides 10 physical pen. The price has been slightly increased from 1650 to 1700. And is now a tier 2 item. I think Hunter's Bow actually.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I think Hunter's Bow ran that.
And now it's a really viable choice if you want some attack speed, some fist pen on Hunters. It's worth looking into. Yep. Maybe even as an intermediate item that you saw when you get your last item.
Mm-hmm.
When you basically done. Because this is just easy pen to pick up, especially, we're going to talk about that later, but since there are no more pen boots, it's really worth looking into.
Yep, there's no more pen boots, guys. It sucks. Slight change on Light Blade. I don't have to mention the Malice, it was just something they reworded. Mark of the Vanguard is another starter item. They increased the health from 100 to 150. Maggie's Blessing. Well, they increased the cost a tiny bit, so 150 gold more, and they removed the crowd control reduction. That's too bad.
Yeah, I feel they thought the item was too strong because first off it cancels a hard CC every 60 seconds, I believe. 45 seconds. And even if it doesn't cancel SDC, it reduces the duration by 40%. That's what it used to do. And that's a lot. It's almost half of the time. Like for some CCs that are only like a second long, you barely notice them anymore.
Yeah, right.
It's like, it was a really, really, really strong item to get if the enemy was CC heavy. So I do understand why they would want to remove the CC reduction from it. So it's still viable if you're if there's like a lot of hard CC, like I don't know, R-Result maybe.
Yeah.
But not broken in that regard.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing because then they need a little bit of a chance too, I guess. It's too bad, kind of. Not like extremely bad. It was just I don't know. Some of these changes just make me a little sad because like Maggie's Cloak obviously has been adjusted to fit the Maggie's Blessing. The Odysseus Bow. They changed the new visuals and effects now for the third time. Like whatever. The passive has been changed. It now procs Chain Lightning every 4th basic attack hit. And the price has been slightly reduced by 200 gold, so that's pretty neat. I pick it up a lot, especially my hunters. It's nice. Holy Nomicon! Don't freak out yet. I know they changed it a lot, but you know.
So basically what happened, the buff duration got increased from 5 seconds to 8 seconds after melee cast. The recharge period have been reduced from 4 to 3. The additional damage on in-hand got increased from 50 to 60.
Yep.
But it only works now on the next basic attack, not the next successful basic attack. Which
you can fuck it up.
Yeah, basically. You can basically waste it now. It's a straight buff, I'd say.
Yeah, if you can hit your shit, it's a buff.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
If you can't hit your shit, well, you're fucked.
I mean, basically, this is extremely good for auto attack gods, like magical auto attack gods like Freya. It's just a straight buff. What else can I say?
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Next up, Protected Recall, an item that I only noticed existed after 1 month playing the game. And then I was like, who needs this?
Some people bought it, but very few, but usually in laning modes.
Yeah, but let's put it that way. Let's put it that way. If you're using Protected Recall, then you're not as good as positioning yourself before going to base.
Yeah, I know.
This is basically just compensation for lack of positioning.
Mm-hmm.
And taking up the active, the place of an active, that's good. I never actually saw anyone taking it myself. So makes sense that they removed it. It's just waste space.
It's whatever. I mean, I see how it would be viable for people that are very squishy. But again, if you're unable to run into the jungle somewhere or whatever just to recall safely, then, well, back to the drawing board, I guess.
Yeah.
Pythagorem's piece. This now branches off the talent trinket. First of all, that's completely different. It gives you no more mana, but it gives you 10% cooldown reduction. Pretty good deal.
Yeah, I mean it's. I mostly pick this item up in Assault with a lot of mages on my team. Mm-hmm. Because then I just give the aura with the lifesteal.
Yeah.
I like the magical lifesteal. So, yeah. Cooler reduction is... Usually I don't need the cooler reduction because I'm already maxed out, but...
Yeah, it's still a good deal if you have to skip on something.
Yeah.
Cooldown boots still exist, by the way. For mages.
Do. Yeah, they do.
The next item, I'm glad they freaking nerfed this because, oh my god, it was a bit OP. The Quinsai, or the Chinsai is how people say, the attack speed is reduced from 25 to 15, thank god. So it's slower than the Executioner now. And the passive effect, where you basically get the health from the enemy, was reduced from 5 to 4%. I'm happy because I've seen a lot of Collies and just a lot of Assassins or even some Hunters take this and just wreck your shit.
Yeah. It was, like, it is still good in Assassins, not brokenly good anymore. But I like picking it up on Hunters. But now I feel it's not enough.
Executioners.
Yeah. Now I feel always getting Execution what Kin says. Like, sometimes I even got both, but now I would just go straight to Executioners.
Yeah. I'm personally glad they fixed this because, man, every Collie ever, she wrecked your shit.
Yeah.
I was so sick of that. Like, just, oh shit, every Collie. GG, guys. Pretty much. They removed the Radiant Orb from the game, obviously. I have never seen the Smithy's Hammer. Actually.
I think it leads up into something.
Yeah, it leads up to one of those, either the Frosty or the Runic Hammer, I believe. I think the Runic Hammer, maybe, which is next to it. It had the cost increase a little bit. But they removed Spiked Shell, which, oh no.
Another active I've never seen.
I used it, like, very rarely, but especially if you're like a tank or something, you can give her like your... Nice to give your enemies some protection and stuff, or for yourself.
You mean your allies, not your enemies?
Did I say enemies?
Yes, you did.
Well, shit. Yes, I give my enemies protections! I am a double agent! Anyway, they removed it. I don't know. I don't really know why, but I don't know.
Hey, now I know who I can blame when I lose a game.
Well then, double agent Apollo. Spirit Robe. They increased the physical protection from 10 to 40. It increased the magical protection from 55 to 40. They increased the cooldown from 10 to 15, and it doesn't give you health anymore. So
yeah, basically just balance it out a bit, so it's not longer heavily favoring mage protection.
The stuff.
Yeah. we talked about this earlier a bit when we talked about the new item, the amulet. Basically, it has the same fist protection as the amulet has mage protection. Health got reduced, the price got reduced heavily by 450, and the aura, instead of giving both physical and magical protection, the physical protection moved over to the amulet, and you instead get 25 HP 5 in addition to 20 per magical protection.
Again, if you pick stuff with that other item together now, you're gonna be... It's a good combo, it's great. I like it.
Yep.
Tower Shield no longer has magical protection. Physical power reduced from 30 to 20, cost reduced. Yeah. Just like the Void Shield had cost reduced. And I think we need to talk about the Watcher's Gift, not the podcast, but the item.
Yeah, the item. It's been heavily reworked. This also ties in, again, we're kind of talking about the boots a bit. They removed Midas boots, which gave you gold per GP5, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of as a support guardian, you kind of got the combo of Watcher's Gift and Midas Boot, so you didn't have to really farm a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want that, apparently, so what they did to Watcher's Gift is it's 100 health with a passive, being in range of 60 of a minion death without dealing the killing blow, awards 4 bonus gold, 10 health and 5 mana.
Yeah.
So one change that's actually a bit subtle that some people might not notice. Before it was when another god dealt the killing blow. Now you can actually just stand next to the minions and have the minions deal the killing blow and you still get the reward, which is neat.
Yeah, it's kind of nice actually for support, especially on Conquest or so.
Yeah, especially since you get the health and mana, so it's really, really good just for sustain.
I like it because I feel like maybe this is just me, but I've been playing with a lot of supports recently on Conquest that didn't let me farm properly, and they even went as far as to steal my kills, which I'm the ADC. I'm supposed to be fed. So maybe this item can motivate the supports to just stay the fuck back and just intervene when it's about absorbing blows or helping the ADC escape. Because that's extremely gosh darn upsetting.
So, yeah, basically it's a bit more sustained than it was before.
Yes, and it's more hands off, goddammit. Let your fucking ADC level up.
Right, next up, Wingblade got a minor nerf, and health got reduced from 350 to 300.
And the next item that made me sad so much.
Witchblade.
One of my favorite items. Okay, so you no longer have movement speed. That was a thing though. Sometimes it was nice because you could get it instead of boots. Yep. Or you could get it on top of boots. I really like putting it on Sylvanus, for example, because you had boots and then the Witchblade on top, which made you extremely fast. Or on Tour, which was great. And now there's no more movement speed.
Yeah, I'm definitely picking it up a lot less now.
Yeah.
So, basically, really the only reason to pick it up if there's a lot of hunters going around. Or like hunters and assassins.
Usually you pick this up when there's a Loki, or at least you used to. Now it's like build the speed mostly.
Yeah.
Now, well, at least it gives you defense still, but other than that, it's pretty much useless now. For me personally, anyway. They also did something else. They it does adjust it so it no longer stacks with attack speed slows from other items. Oh shit.
Yeah. So basically, kind of also a nerf.
Yeah, so this is too bad. I really like Witchblade.
Yeah.
Liked Witchblade.
So, next up, what we already hinted about a lot is the boots.
The boots.
They completely changed the boots and shoes.
Even added some.
Well, no, they actually replaced.
Well, yeah, but...
Yeah.
Because they removed them, I added some.
So, let's start with the physical boots tree. Warrior Tabi changed to movement speed and 40 fist power.
Mm-hmm.
So basically they added 10 fist power and took out the pen.
The pen, that sucks.
Which is, well, really unfortunate because like that was basically the reason to get Warrior Tabi, at least for me it was.
They're a little price reduced now, but
yeah, well, like all the boots have been price reduced.
Yeah, I know,
basically.
but that still doesn't justify taking the pen out, even though it gives you more physical power now. But now it's literally a question of, okay, do you want power on your boots, or do you want attack speed on your boots? Because the Ninja Tabi would be the opposite, because it gives you the movement speed, just 20 physical power, but on top 15 attack speed.
It's for me. I'm probably gonna take it on every hunter.
I'm personally not.
I like having the extra attack speed on my hunters, and probably picking up Warrior Tabi on my assassins because of the power. That's at least what I'm trying at. It's like how I feel I can work my builds best. Next boots are the Reinforced Greaves. What they are now is 18% movement speed, 15 fist power, 100 health, and which is really neat. It's a 30% reduction to all crowd control durations, which is something to consider again if the enemies are very CC heavy. And since Midas boots got cut off, we have a new boots.
The Talaria boots sounds like a sickness. Malaria. 18% movement speed, 10 physical power, 28 movement speed out of combat, which is kind of like the boots we used to have, but they give you 25 HP 5 now too. So.
Yeah, well
kind of like those boots
you have to see, but the 28 adds to the 18 out of combat, don't they?
No.
No?
It's instead, I think.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it's instead. Like if you're outside of combat, you're 10% quicker. I don't think it stacks on top. That'd be crazy. Well, it is crazy anyway.
Well, let's put it that way. It's ambiguously worded. If it really is the way you're saying, I didn't check them out myself so far, but if it's that way, then it's ambiguously worded. They should maybe.
No, it's nicely worded. It gives you 18% movement speed, 28 if you're out of combat.
Yeah, but you can also read it 18 movement speed plus additional 28 while you're out of combat.
Okay, guys, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure it just changes the number and it doesn't add it on top.
I probably agree with you because the other thing would be broken beyond.
Yeah, I was just saying that, but correct me if I'm wrong here.
But then it should be just making it clearer. That's how I feel about it.
Right, high rise.
Yes.
So those magic shoes.
They also get changed. Shoes of Magi lost his pen as well, as did Warrior's Tabi, and got some magical power instead. The Reinforced shoes.
Broken, huh?
Yeah, 65 magical power, that's a lot.
And 250 mana on top, what the fuck?
Reinforced shoes just mirror the Reinforced Greaves, basically, with magical power instead of fist power.
Yep.
Shoes of Focus, I believe, stayed the same.
I'm not sure. I don't have the actual stats in my mind. The cooldown still exists, which is fucking stupid, given that we don't have that with the Ninja Tabis. We just get attack speed. It's dumb. 30 magical power. I'm not sure if it gave you that much. I think it might have just been 20, but I don't freaking know anymore.
Yeah, well, it feels like they didn't really change much about the Focus shoes, at least.
But we do have new shoes.
Yeah, basically, again, mirroring the Talaria boots. We have the Traveler shoes, which do the same thing with magical power instead of fist power.
So, a lot of items.
Yes.
Generally, I feel like a lot of the items that have been reworked and or added were more geared towards conquest. It seems like they gave you a lot of new items, or just the changes that help you mostly in conquest.
Well, I would actually I mean, I don't know, obviously, but I think what they're trying to do is balancing the game for Conquest.
Yeah, no.
And the other modes are just additional, just have fun modes, and they don't really try to balance. Like, you can't balance out the game for separate modes that have a completely different goal set. So.
Well, you could. I mean, I would know of a method. They could just add a bunch of new items, and then depending on which mode you're in, you can access certain items or not. That would be pretty cool. Kind of.
Well, that's kind of how they're doing it anyway. Like, they're limiting some items in Assault that would be beyond broken, like stack items.
Oh god, don't even.
So. Yeah, but especially also, like, going into the God changes, I believe they are really just looking at
Conquest
and the other things, just like basically, I mean, for a lot of people, the competitive side of SMITE is really the important part. So they don't really. There's probably a lot of people who just play Conquest and maybe just play League Conquest.
Yeah.
So the game is kind of catered. It's catering them. Which I can understand, because that's basically where the big events come out from, so I could see why they would do that this way.
It's just a little weird. It's almost a bit too bad. It's like, okay, so here's your perfect stuff for Conquest, but what about any of the other modes? You know, like, oh, well, crap. I don't know. It's just the impression I got, but, you know. I'm still trying to figure out some nice or broken builds for everybody. I just had finished making all the custom builds just like the other week, and now I'm like, well, fuck, I have to go through it again. No, actually, it didn't change that much. It's just that a few of my favorite items like Witchblade and Hydra have been changed quite a bit. So that's too bad, but I don't know, I'm currently trying to experiment with some builds anyway, some good timing, Huntress.
Yeah. Okay, next up.
Oh, those nerfs and buffs and stuff.
Yes.
Generally, I don't think we should go through every god, especially because there's one big change here in this patch. They did change all hunters. In terms of that, they increased the base attack speed a little bit. And they especially increased the attack speed per level. So they tried to make the hunters a bit quicker in terms of attack speed. All of them. And
some of the hunters with the strongest lane clears got their lane clears nerfed, like Anhur, Apollo, and Rama.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's basically your hunters for you.
Yep. So, what they did basically, for example, on Apollo, is that if you use your lane clear, well, your one for lane clear, the first minion gets 100% damage, and then the further back you go, there's 15% less. Meaning you can't just clear a wave anymore. You might just clear the first minion in front, and then you have to use your basic attack or something else to clear the rest. While in Neith's case, for her spirit arrow, they apparently did the opposite.
Yeah, basically now every target hit gets full damage.
Yep.
So basically they tried buffing Neith's lane clear because
she's kind of weak compared to all the others.
Yeah.
She's somewhere in, what was she, in 7th place or some crap? I forgot the exact number, but she was pretty far down.
So, next up is a big nerf. Well, maybe not big nerf, but important nerf at least. Our Kuang got nerfed.
Woohoo!
Basically, his Dragon Calls, the damage reduced. They got the damage reduced from 40, 60, 80, 100, 120 to 30, 45, 60, 75, 90 per dragon, which is a lot.
He's still OP as shit.
He still does a lot of damage, but it's no longer as quick as it used to be. So I've played with and against our Kuangs, and he still kills you when he's near you, but he doesn't kill you quite as quick.
Yeah. Woohoo!
So I feel like they're going into the right direction with this one.
Yeah, man, he's like, God damn it. Fuck, what's wrong with you?
So, what else do we have? With some little changes from new art.
There have been some minor fixes on Obelix, Busted, Shock, stuff like fixing typos or that you can't cancel abilities anymore and stuff. Chronos had a bigger one.
Yeah, so stop time now additionally reduces attack speed by 20% while slowing, which is neat in defense against Fizz or like basic attack mages. Stop time is now not longer regarded as a slow but as a stun, which was kind of ambiguous because it was first a slow and then a stun. So now it counts as a stun basically. So if you want to, you're not immune against a slow if you got slow immunity for some reason, but you can get it removed with a stun CC removal.
Yeah, and it also increased the cooldown a tiny bit.
Yeah.
The question is, did Chronos need this? I guess it's a buff. I'm not sure. I mean, Chronos players have been pretty, Chronos is one of those gods. If you play him well, you're wrecking shit. If you don't play him well, then,
yeah.
But, so I don't know what they were catering at here, which audience. I mean, now, if you can play Chronos anyway, you're gonna be even more OP. If you can't play him, well, whatever. Yeah. It might have been for people who don't play him well, because you get it slow on people, and usually you build a lot of speed items on Chronos, so, but now people who are good with him are even better. Great.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this. That was Chronos, ladies and gentlemen.
Next up is Cupid, who actually got a bit differently changed than the other hunters. Like, he got also the attack speed buff, but his Share the Love, his heal, got reduced, significantly mana cost reduced, to 50 at L ranks. It used to scale from 60 to 80. And Fields of Love got also kind of buffed, because the ability no longer causes diminishing returns on itself when it stuns and mesmerizes at the same time. I didn't know it did that before, but it will just make it basically better.
Yeah.
So
Cupid needed a little bit of a buff in a way, because people still laugh about Cupid all the time.
Yeah, but
it's like Cupid, lol. But at the same time, it's kind of the Chronos phenomenon here. If you're good with Cupid, great, you're gonna do even better now. If you're bad with Cupid, well, shit,
Yeah.
Okay.
So
we had a little bit of an extra change on top of the hunter bonus here.
Yeah.
The ricochet has an increased projectile speed. I noticed.
Yeah, which is good because I felt it was too slow before. To be honest.
Yeah, a little bit. And his dive bomb has been changed a tiny bit, so he no longer becomes immune to damage and healing while airborne. Especially the healing part is a bit shitty, right? And increased the speed he travels at, and he's also no longer rooted upon landing. Good stuff, I guess.
Well, to be quite honest, I don't feel he's quite there yet. I feel he needs a bit of a bigger push. I talked about it in the last patch notes when he got introduced, and I still feel he's underperforming in comparison to other hunters.
Oh yeah, but that's why they gave him this little, well, I almost want to say buff or changes at least.
But I feel it's not enough yet. I feel he's going into the right direction, but he could use a little more. Like maybe what I feel might be useful for him might be a bit of damage push in general, maybe on his abilities.
I don't know. I feel like we should wait and see, especially with those new items that came out. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say here. Hey, look, Herc!
Yeah, he got nerfed, significantly so.
Woohoo!
This basing power has been reduced from 39 to 35, and this in-hand power per level got reduced from 2.25 to 2. So that's a just straight nerf there from his power.
You now don't get 35 kills anymore, only 29.
And his passive has been also reworked. It doesn't give you 30 plus 3 times your level physical power, but instead now 30 plus 1 time your level. So basically a reduction by 3.
That's good enough. He's fucking OP still.
Yeah.
Whatever. We have a good guy.
Yes.
They changed his whirlwind again. So in the beginning, it used to be a 3-second effect duration. Then they nerfed it to 2, and now it's 2.5.
Yeah.
Happy medium.
Yeah, I think that's a good change, basically.
Yeah, it's a good medium. I feel like because there's been a bunch of times where somebody got away with barely any health, and I'm like, God damn it, God damn it. So this could make a change.
Yeah.
A good change. That was a good for lane clearing, obviously. It still feels short. Kind of weird. It felt like 3 seconds was too long. 2 seconds is too short. 2.5 is too short. So what the fuck? It's weird. It's weird how we perceive this.
Yeah.
Neith, we kind of mentioned Neith earlier.
Yeah, when we mentioned Apollo.
That's pretty much all we need to say here.
Yeah. Nox got nerfed.
Yeah.
Siphon Darkness got a cooldown increased from 3 to 4 seconds, and reduced magical power scaling from 60 to 50%, so it doesn't do as much. And the Night Terror has been reworked in the way it works, as in how you perceive it as an enemy player. The casting time has been increased to 1 second. It was
4 times as long.
Yeah, it was 0.25 seconds before. And I noticed it while playing. It really you couldn't just cast it and then look away, because then you would cast it in the wrong direction. So you'd have to kind of keep your aim steady, basically.
Yeah.
And they also changed the effects and sounds so that enemy players notice it more when you cast it.
Yeah.
So it's less of a nerf regarding the mechanics. I mean, obviously the casting time.
The Siphon definitely, but not the Night Terror.
The Night Terror just more of a nerf as in actually noticing something's up.
Yeah. It's actually one thing they changed for Neith. They made the unravel a bit more clear.
Yeah.
Like the red targeting. Osiris! They decreased his base attack speed a little bit from 1.1 to 0.95. And the attack speed per level increased from 0.8 to 1.4. Yeah. Some people have been bitching about it.
Yeah, I think it's a good adjustment. I like playing Osiris myself, and once he got into melee, he just wrecked. So yeah, I feel it's good.
Rama got an extra change.
Well, basically it's the lane clear change.
Yep. Oh no.
Oh yes.
The Astral Strike. Damage from his ability is now reduced to 75% for each hit after the first. So basically, kind of the Apollo effect here, right? I would say.
Yeah.
So basically, first time we get 100% and then 75. Sobek though.
Oh yeah, he got buffed.
Yeah.
He got increased protections from his passive, which is really neat.
Now you can get you get 7 instead of 5 per sec.
And lurking in the waters, his ultimate. Now the slow increases. Like before, it was flat 50% to all levels. Now it starts at 50%, but it ends up at 35, which is significant. It's really, you really notice it now. Before you you could kind of slow it a bit, but you could still get out of it relatively easily. And now it's just like you're stuck.
I feel like that's a neat change because I honestly have barely ever noticed the Sobek ult before.
It was just like, oh yeah, you can see him a bit difficultly, and Hunt not because of the.
It's like, hey, look, Sobek is ulting. Yawn, runs. Pretty much is our voice.
Yeah.
So that's Sobek. Sylvanus had a little bit of a nerf. His wisps now only affect gods, which, damn it. Really damn it. But on the other hand, especially modes like Conquest, again, these nerfs and buffs seem all to be majorly concerning Conquest play. It was just OP when you could heal your own freaking minions. I did it! I laned the Sylvanus.
I know.
I solo laned the Sylvanus. I devastated that poor fucker on the opposite side. I think it was actually an assassin or something even.
Oh yeah, you've got a lot of
so
sustain the Sylvanus basically.
Yeah, I would just constantly heal my minions basically. So no more shit.
Yeah. So that's about the bigger god changes. Yeah, the rest we already talked about in some form.
Pretty much. Alright, so we have the general changes here towards the end. One of the good things that they changed is that they added a little search field next to the filter options in your God tab. So you can now look for stuff, for example, Roman, ranged. That's pretty neat because I was like, how the fuck are they going to do that without making that drop down 2 months long? It would have sucked. Because I personally would have liked the option to sort the gods by their pantheon or just anything really. Mm-hmm. So now you can actually search through the gods.
Yeah, that's good.
That's pretty neat. They also changed a few other things, obviously, like the recommended builds because of the Nerfs now. Stuff like that.
Then creep damage at the end of match lobby
is not minion damage. So little small stuff like that. But one thing we wanted to mention at this point that they changed is that League, so SMITE League, you can now duo queue. Woohoo!
Yes. This is
exciting.
Yes, it is, because SMITE is a social game for me. I play SMITE with my games
friends?
With my friends preferably. And League was always something, okay, I can't play with my friends. This sucks, kinda.
Yeah.
But now I can play with my friends. This is great. It's like, there are people complaining and saying like, that teams who got duo queues will have an advantage, but I'm pretty sure that the matchmaking will put duo queues against duo queues.
Actually, there's a little security on that. You can't just queue with, if you're in bronze, for example, you can't just queue with your freaking diamond friend. What it allows you is to have either plus or minus 1 tier. So if you're in bronze, you can queue with the next higher or the next lower. There's obviously nothing lower than bronze, but you know. So if you're in masters, you can only queue with a masters or one under it. So it's just plus minus 1 basically, or the equal. So it's not just like, okay, my masters buddy here is taking me from bronze to masters.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good security.
Yeah. It's good.
It's really neat.
I like it.
Yeah.
I approve Hi-Res.
This is gonna be really nice because it's gonna change stuff up a little bit. I hope it's gonna make for less rude freaking games because, oh my god, man. I want to play League. I always wanted to play League, but I never got back after that one Conquest game I had where everybody was so super serious and like, you know, if you're stepping a little bit like a pixel off of where you should stand, people wreck your face and stuff, and I was like, you know what, I don't feel like being in this toxic environment. I'm not gonna play League. But now I can actually play League.
Yeah.
And it's actually a team thing now because you can train with your partner and just it's cool. I like it. I do wish they would add some other modes to League, like Arena, because some people are fucking tryhards. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how that's gonna go. I'm excited to quote Kali. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
So if you ever wanted to try a League where you were like, maybe now.
Yes.
It's a good time to start.
Yes, definitely.
I like it. So, pretty much that.
Yes. A quick mentioning of a few bugs we've encountered.
Yes.
For some reason, whenever Kitty spawns, she's facing the wall instead of the opposite direction.
Yeah, that's freaking weird. At least when I'm on the... I don't know if it's a computer thing, but a bunch of times now when I started a match, I faced the wall as the only character. Like the wall of shame or something.
Wow.
Hi Raz, what's up with that? That's weird.
Yeah. Then, oh, well, that bug got actually hotfixed by the time of this podcast.
Right. If you would die from a match and you log back in, the bottom bar was missing, so no more chat or your stats or whatever on the bottom.
But they already fixed that one.
They fixed that, thank you. Thank you so much. It was really annoying. And that's pretty much... the other thing they fixed, I believe, is that if you... if the whole team dies from a server and you log back in and there's basically nobody on there anymore, it would still kind of put you back, but not really, so it wouldn't work and you were stuck there. I think they fixed that too.
Yeah.
That's good. Bug fixes. Stu actually also posted a little list on Twitter just earlier with a few more things they fixed. So you should, as we always say, you should probably go follow him. Hi Stu. He always posts a lot of statuses, even like when the server is down or something. So go follow him.
Definitely.
Yeah. Do we say anything else to general changes?
No.
Good. So then, as always, GG SMITE.
Yes. There's one thing I want to mention, which I found cool because like I only found out recently. SMITE is coming to Xbox One.
Yes, that's been established for a while now. I'm not sure if they have an actual date or stuff yet.
I've heard end of the year.
Could be, but they're. That means they might overhaul the other modes until then too.
Yeah, so that it's done for.
That's ready for Xbox.
Launch.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I don't own an Xbox, but it's always exciting to like. I'm wondering if they're actually gonna mix up Xbox and computer players, or if they're gonna have separate servers.
That's a good question.
Because I feel that a computer player would have a control advantage over a controller player, basically.
Well, but it's kind of your choice. I mean, if you play it on Xbox voluntarily, you can always just go to your computer, technically. Yeah. Besides, there is actually the function or the possibility to play SMITE on your computer with a controller, actually.
True, but I feel, that's my personal feeling, that you'd have a disadvantage.
Well, personally, I wouldn't use a controller for SMITE anyway, but I've spoken with some people who have been using controllers, because I've been wondering about the camera turning and stuff, because the mouse makes it extremely easy, but apparently they're doing well because of the joysticks and stuff. Well, more power to them, right? I don't know if I could pull it off, but it would be pretty neat to be able to play with a controller. Yeah, maybe I'll try that someday.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe they're gonna overhaul all these modes until the end of the year.
I think so. I mean, it would make sense.
It would make sense. Otherwise, it's like, here's an outdated map. It's probably why there isn't any. I've seen people complain about it, like. When's the Xbox version coming out? I'm assuming they're waiting until the overhauls.
What they're in now is like they already had some alpha tests. Like once in the game show I saw a video where they basically presented some alpha versions, which already looked really good. I have to say.
Yep. So I'm curious. We're gonna have to keep an eye on it, definitely. Also, I think at this point I need to put a spoiler for the next god coming out. It's gonna be a Roman god. It's probably a warrior, a female warrior. It's Bellona. She looks, from what I've seen, she looks like a warrior. We've also heard that Medusa is coming out soon. So maybe after Bellona?
Or maybe both at a time?
We don't know yet, but Bellona is definitely the next one.
Might make sense if they say like, okay, we skipped a god this patch and then we could go 2 gods next patch.
I don't know, it could be, but from what I'm seeing, Bellona is the one and Medusa is still a bit off. She has been programmed into some voice lines though. Like Curse Apollo makes a reference to Medusa. And as we've already pointed out like 2 podcasts ago, 2 episodes ago I think, or whenever he came out, 2 or 3. No, it was 2 ago I think. So she's probably after that. But it seems like Bellona could be the next. And she looks very warrior-like, which would be nice because we don't have any female warriors yet. Not since Nem has been removed.
Yeah.
So that could be neat. I'm curious to see how they're gonna build her in terms of looks. I hope they're gonna give her some mass. Because she's a warrior, there's no way she's gonna be like a skinny as fucking Jesus. Please, Hi-Res! Please. But we have a special episode for that actually coming up soon on this whole topic and on other issues. You'll see when it comes out. It's going to be on this channel as well, and we're going to tweet about it definitely. So, but for now, this is the patch.
Yes.
So,
I hope you had fun. If you have anything you want to contribute, be it opinions or videos or maybe images, fan art, whatever, just either tweet us or send it to us. The hashtag is GGSmite.
Yes, as always, because then we can feature you guys and maybe retweet you and stuff.
Exactly.
Cool. So that'd be amazing. Don't forget GGSmite. You should also follow us on Twitter in general because I sometimes post things that I figure out as we go, like data mining stuff.
Yeah.
Spoilers, you know.
Oh.
Or just fun stuff.
Exactly.
Like parodies. I just posted a parody the other day.
Ooh, yeah, that was a good one.
It's good stuff. And since we now have a channel for this, you can subscribe. So you get notified automatically about the next episodes or whatever else we bring out, like those specials.
Yep.
The upcoming specials, extremely exciting. We have some guests. Not going to spoil anything. It's going to be pretty cool because we are discussing a pretty serious problem in this from the SMITE community. You'll see when it comes out. It's going to be soon.
Yeah.
We're excited.
It was really fun making it.
Yeah, it was extremely fun. So I hope you guys will like it when it's out. Serious business.
Yes, sir.
There's serious business in SMITE. Oh no.
Oh no. Well, it was all about fun and killing other people.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, right.
Do you want to say, like, what's your general opinion of this patch?
It's
massive.
Massive. It's really big in scale, and I feel most of the changes they did I agree with.
Yeah.
Some of them I feel a bit but really there has not been one change where I go like, this was wrong, you should revert that.
No.
Maybe there's somewhere I feel like it wasn't strong enough a change, or it was a bit too strong of a change, but the general idea of what they're doing I do agree with.
Okay. Me too. It was a massive patch. At first when I read it I'm like, holy crap, how do I make sense of this? But it's nice. I mean, I'm happy the Conquest came out finally. I tried it on the PTS last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, some items are gonna be missed. God damn it. I'm kind of happy they pushed the Huntress a little. And I've been playing a lot of Apollo recently, so even with that little nerf and stuff, it's still all good. I do like the UI. Still nice and blue and black.
Yeah, well, we actually there has been a lot of outrage about the new UI. A lot of people claimed it looked sci-fi-ish, or it didn't fit the mythological theme of SMITE. And personally, when I think about the UI, it's good, but it really feels unfinished and unpolished. There's a lot of screens that are taken from the old UI, like for example the God Builder.
Yeah.
That's the one that's always
the friend list.
The friend list. Then there's things like the alignment of the chart, how it is now. It overlaps with a lot of things, most notably with the God select window when you're in a match, which to me it just looks jarring. So generally I like it because you have just a bigger screen and you don't have like the bars on the left and right that basically are there for nothing. But this it just feels like they wanted to include the new UI for the start of Season 2, but maybe they should have just finished all the UI elements and polished all the UI elements before releasing it live. It feels like we're watching...
Rushed?
Yeah, it feels rushed. It feels like they wanted to include it with Season 2, and I disagree on the necessity of the new UI to be released together with the Season 2 start.
Personally, I still liked it. I mean, there's a few little things that aren't perfect, obviously, but I feel like given that they only have the PTS to test this add-on, and not a lot of people go into the PTS or even know that it exists or want anything to do with it, they had to bring it out for some further, like, in-depth testing. So, you know, I see where they're coming from. And usually they're extremely quick with patches and fixes anyway. I mean, they brought out this patch on Wednesday, and given that yesterday I already brought out a few hot patches or hot fixes for some of the major issues, they're extremely quick. So the UI is going to be fixed very, very soon, but I feel like they need more intense testing. Because PTS, I don't know how many people go into PTS, but as far as I know, it's barely a lot of people. It's just not enough data for them. So,
I think I disagree a bit with you in here, because you don't need a lot of data to see that the UI doesn't work. Like, designing an UI, you don't need a lot of data. So, like, if you see that there's something overlapping...
Well, the overlaps maybe, but there's, for example, the stuff also, with the dicing, there's no way they could have figured that out, but they already fixed that, for example.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. I'm not talking about, like, bugs that happen, but like also not finishing the whole UI to be in the new style. It's something that they don't need to put it on a live server to figure out that they need to change that.
Well, the point I made against that is that I don't know if they wanted to keep some of the old elements, you know, for, I guess, nostalgic reasons or whatever, or to like set it apart a little bit or whatever. So I don't know what they were thinking exactly. You'd have to probably get an input straight from Hi-Res. But I don't feel too extremely bad about this whole thing, not as much as other people. I feel like people are... It's almost like they're expecting this perfect thing, and I'm just like, you know what? They're a company, it's work in progress. It's like, whatever, you know, bear with them a little. I feel like they did a good job. I mean, sure, yeah, they need to fix the chat overlapping and some of the other stuff, but whatever. It's work in progress, obviously. It's always work in progress. Everything is work in progress. They're never gonna be done, obviously. So, you know, it doesn't bother me that much. As long as it works, as long as I can play and it doesn't look like extremely bad, so it gives me like eye cancer or something. I'm cool. So it's like, you know, do your thing, take your time, whatever. Then again, I'm extremely relaxed about this because I come from the IT field, and I know that, you know, stuff isn't always that easy and obvious, and just, I don't know. I see what they were trying to do here. And as for people who are like, it's too sci-fi or whatever, I wouldn't use the word sci-fi. I mean, we have this nice background with the sky with the stars and the constellations, which looks amazing. By the way, great job on whoever did that. I love it because it makes so much sense too with the constellations and the gods and stuff. It definitely makes a lot more sense than just flat out black. So it looks really good. And if you as much as you can argue the choice of colors with blue instead of the more gold and stuff, I feel like it looks very, very professional, and it reminds me a bit of this whole esports thing a little. It's like, it looks very promo and very, very official, and just like this is an actual, like a big event kind of thing. Like you log into SMITE and you feel like, or I feel like I'm a little bit like I'm involved in an esports event almost, because it reminds me of that.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
And the simple design and the sleek stuff and the clear lines and so I don't feel like it's sci-fi. It's just it's very promo. I can't think of a better word here. It feels very esport, which is nice. I don't feel like it has to be what it used to be before. The statues on the side and stuff was nice, but it did look a little bit, I almost want to say Dungeons and Dragons or something. So I like what they're trying to do here with the clearer lines and the simpler look. And I hope they'll fix, that OCD stuff, that cosmetic stuff soon. So people can maybe shut up and find something else to complain about, right? But, I don't know. I like it. I'm curious to see where else they're gonna take it. The only thing I would fix is the God tab. It's too bad that you have to do an extra click there when you pick a god, and then you have to hit the back button before you can pick the next god.
Yeah.
Maybe there could be a different solution. Maybe they could put a quick access bar on the bottom, or I don't know, because there's a lot of space on the bottom now. Because if you're looking through, let's say, emoticons, and you wanted to check which ones you're still missing, or if you wanted to look through the new ones, you could just quickly skip through it, right? And I have to always click it back, and then it's a bit, it's a bit more work.
Yeah.
So that would be cool. But other than that, I dig it. I like it. It looks very clean. It's good. Keep it going. And fix those few bugs. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Don't let the haters get to you too much. Yes. At the chat window.
Alright, so I think this closes this month's podcast.
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of shit, a lot of good shit.
Yeah.
Usually people do complain less, but that's like asking for impossible here.
Yeah.
Once the UI is fixed, they're gonna find something else.
Yeah.
It's like the matchmaking shit. Did you notice? First it was like the matchmaking shit. Now it's UI is shit. At least it came away from the matchmaking a little, right? What's gonna be next? Any guesses? No? Maybe?
I have no idea.
Oh god. Leave your guesses down below. Let's see if it comes true.
Alright, so I hope you had fun. And
Yes.
See you not in a month, since there will be a special podcast coming up.
Yeah, see you way sooner than that, because there can be something between there. Also, since we have a YouTube channel now, and you're into Google Plus or whatever, feel free to follow us there. And again, make sure you follow us somewhere, because there's some more stuff coming out soon that's gonna be cool for you guys. Maybe.
Dun, dun,
Lots of surprises, huh?
dun.
Title.
Alright, so this is goodbye from me, your host Mikey, and... Bye, you.
Bye, you guys.